The story begins in 1290 BC in the thriving city of Thebes in Egypt, and its king's name is Pharaoh. Pharaoh has a wife named Ankhsu-Namun, and no one else except the king is allowed to touch her. However, Ankhsu-Namun does not love Pharaoh and is having an affair with Pharaoh's high priest, Imhotep. Imhotep is known as the king of the world of the dead because he has the power to bring any dead person back to life. One day, while Imhotep and Ankhsu-Namun are loving each other, King Pharaoh catches them red-handed. But together, they manage to kill the king. Before the soldiers could arrive, Ankhsu-Namun urges Imhotep to escape because only he can bring her back to life. Imhotep's people take him away, and Ankhsu-Namun, knowing that Imhotep will resurrect her, takes her own life with a knife. Afterward, Imhotep's men steal Ankhsu-Namun's body and bring it to the city of Hamunaptra in Egypt, also known as the City of the Dead, where Imhotep plans to bring her back to life. However, while Imhotep is performing the resurrection ritual for Ankhsu-Namun, the soldiers of the king arrive and capture him. They decide to give Imhotep a punishment called the Ham-Dai, the most cruel punishment in history that has never been given to anyone before. As part of this punishment, they turn Imhotep into a living mummy. They place him in a coffin and release thousands of scarab beetles inside it, sealing it with a special key so that no one can open it. The unique aspect of the Ham-Dai punishment is that while Imhotep remains in the coffin, his powers will continue to grow, and when someone opens it in the future, he will have as many years of strength as he spent in that coffin, and he will wreak havoc on the world. After this, Imhotep's coffin is buried beneath the statue of the god Anubis in Egypt. After 3,000 years have passed, the statue of the god Anubis, which used to be quite tall, has now diminished in size due to the burial of the city of Hamunaptra beneath the earth. This land has become a destination for explorers from various countries, and a constant battle rages here for the treasure hidden in Hamunaptra. There are also descendants of King Pharaoh's soldiers who live here and are responsible for guarding Imhotep's coffin to ensure that no one opens it. Here we see an American soldier named Rick who is running away from enemies. However, as he runs, he finds himself surrounded on all sides, seemingly with no way out. But suddenly, all the enemies retreat because behind where Rick was standing, there is the statue of the god Anubis, where Imhotep was buried 3,000 years ago. All of a sudden, the sand on the ground begins to shift and a face emerges from the sand. This terrifies Rick, and he quickly flees from the area. After that, the story shifts 3 years later, and we meet Evelyn, an Egyptologist who works in a library. She has a brother named Jonathan, who shows her a strange artifact he acquired while digging. When Evelyn presses a button on this artifact, it opens, revealing itself as the same key that was used to lock Imhotep in the coffin 3,000 years ago. It also contains a map of the city of Hamunaptra. Evelyn shows this map to her father's friend, the owner of the library where she works. However, he advises her against going there because it's a very dangerous place and tries to burn the map with a candle. Evelyn quickly extinguishes the fire on the map and asks Jonathan where he really found it. Jonathan confesses that he didn't discover the artifact while digging. Instead, he stole it from an American man who is currently in jail. Afterward, Evelyn and Jonathan visit the jail to meet the owner of the key. He is none other than Rick, the same American soldier who stood before the statue of Anubis 3 years ago and is now facing execution. Rick realizes why they have come, and tells Evelyn that he knows the way to Hamunaptra, and to reach there she needs to free him from execution. As Rick is about to be executed, Evelyn entices the jailer with the promise of hidden treasures in Hamunaptra and reveals that Rick is the only person who knows the way. She offers the jailer 25% of the treasure's value in exchange for Rick's release. Hearing this tempting offer, the jailer spares Rick's life and cuts the noose. The next day, the four of them set sail for Hamunaptra on a ship. On the ship, Jonathan's big mouth leads him to reveal their mission to a group of American travelers who are also interested in searching for treasure in Hamunaptra. Upon hearing this, the American group decides to join Rick and his friends on their journey to Hamunaptra. Later, Evelyn confides in Rick that her main goal in reaching Hamunaptra is to find the golden book named Amun-Ra, which contains the secret spells and powers of Egypt's true royal bloodline. After reaching Hamunaptra, Evelyn spots the statue of Anubis and realizes that half of it is buried beneath the ground. They all venture underground, and once they're below, Evelyn uses a mirror to direct sunlight into a room, reflecting it off other mirrors to illuminate the dark chamber. With the room now lit up, Evelyn and her companions start searching for the golden book. However, after a while, the group they encountered on the ship arrives, and both groups point weapons at each other because they all want the treasure. They decide to make a pact that whoever finds the treasure will split it equally among all of them. After this agreement, the two groups split up and start searching for the treasure in different areas. Meanwhile, the jailer goes off on his own and comes across a wall with precious stones embedded in it. He tries to pry some of them out with his knife, but as he does, a scarab beetle emerges from one of the stones, crawls into his shoe, and enters into his flesh. He starts screaming in intense pain, and in a frantic attempt to escape, he runs into a wall and dies. Evelyn, Rick, and Jonathan are bewildered by the jailer's strange and frantic behavior and don't have a damn idea why he was running. Later, when they all gather on the surface, they are suddenly attacked by the descendants of King Pharaoh's soldiers, led by their leader, Bey. Bey warns them that they have one day to leave the area or they will be killed. However, no one gives a damn about his warning, and they continue their search for the treasure underground the next day. As they search, the American group finds a box with a warning written on it. The warning states that anyone who opens the box and attempts to bring the dead back to life will be cursed. Imhotep will suck the blood of those who open the box and assimilate their bodies, becoming stronger and nearly unstoppable. However, those who read this warning in the box consider it superstition and open it anyway. Inside, they discover the Book of the Dead, the same book Imhotep used to resurrect people, but it requires a special key to open, which Evelyn possesses. Additionally, the box contains 4 gold canopic jars used in ancient Egypt to store the vital organs of the deceased. Unbeknownst to them, the box they stole contains the preserved body parts of Ankh-Su-Namun, Imhotep's girlfriend. On the other side, a sarcophagus falls from above, right in front of Rick and Evelyn. It is the same sarcophagus in which Imhotep was turned into a mummy. Jonathan uses the key to open the sarcophagus, which he had stolen from Rick. Upon opening it, a mummy pops out from inside, but what's peculiar about this mummy is that it's still decomposing after 3,000 years. Evelyn says that she has encountered many mummies in her life, but none like this. As the night falls, everyone gathers on the surface again, and when the American group is asleep, Evelyn steals the black book from them and uses the key to open it. Rick objects to this because the book has the power to resurrect the dead, but Evelyn dismisses it as superstition and starts reading the lines in the book. However, as she reads, Imhotep's mummy comes to life, and the weather starts deteriorating. Suddenly, a swarm of countless scarab beetles starts chasing everyone to attack them. As they flee, one man from the group who had opened the box is left behind because his glasses fall onto the ground while running. Imhotep's mummy catches up to him, gouges out his eyes, and fixes them onto himself, as the curse had foretold. Meanwhile, Evelyn falls underground through a hidden door just in front of Imhotep's mummy. As Imhotep approaches her, Rick and Jonathan also arrive and open fire on the mummy, allowing Evelyn to escape with them. As they exit, they encounter Bey and his soldiers who had warned them earlier. Bey explains that they have been guarding this place for 3,000 years to prevent anyone from awakening Imhotep. Now that he has been awakened, he declares that no one can save the world from Imhotep, and leaves. After returning to their hotel, Rick begins preparing to leave for his home. However, Evelyn insists that they are the ones who awakened Imhotep, and it's their responsibility to stop him. The city starts experiencing unnatural phenomena, with asteroids falling from the sky, causing chaos and destruction. Imhotep's mummy returns to the man whose eyes it had taken earlier, now absorbing all his blood and regenerating its body, appearing better than before. Just then Rick and Evelyn arrive, and Rick opens fire on Imhotep, but the mummy seems unaffected. However, when it sees a cat, it suddenly flees in fear. This baffles Rick and Evelyn, as they can't understand why the mummy would be scared of a cat. Following this information, Rick and Evelyn visit Bey and his group to find a way to stop Imhotep. Rick asks them about Imhotep's fear of cats, and they explain that cats are guardians of the underworld, which is why Imhotep is afraid of them. However, once Imhotep fully regenerates his body, his fear of cats will likely disappear. To complete his regeneration, Imhotep needs to kill 3 more people who open the box. They also speculate that Imhotep will use Evelyn's body to resurrect his lost love, because he mentioned Ankh-Su-Namun name when he first saw Evelyn. 2 of the 3 people Imhotep needs are present in the room, but the third, a historian, is missing. Before Rick and his companions can reach the historian, Imhotep kills him, further regenerating his body. When Imhotep sees Rick, he unleashes a swarm of viral insects from his mouth that infect anyone upon contact, turning them into his minions. Later that night, Imhotep kills his 3rd victim, completing his nearly full regeneration. He transforms into sand and enters Evelyn's room while she is asleep, and kisses her while envisioning her as Ankh-Su-Namun. However, Rick arrives in the room carrying a cat, which terrifies Imhotep and forces him to flee. Afterward, Rick and Evelyn speculate that if the Black Book can bring Imhotep back to life, the Golden Book can possibly kill him. However, they don't know where to find the Golden Book. Evelyn reads an ancient inscription on a wall, realizing that just as the Black Book was found beneath the statue of Anubis, the Golden Book must be hidden beneath the statue of the Egyptian god Horus. But before they can reach the statue, Imhotep arrives with his minions and takes Evelyn with him, ordering his minions to kill Evelyn's companions. Rick, Jonathan, and Bey somehow manage to escape and find themselves in the same location where they had discovered the statue of Anubis. They search for the statue of Horus and eventually come across a mirror. When they angle the mirror toward the sun, its zigzag reflection illuminates the room, revealing Egypt's long-lost treasure that people have been searching for centuries. On the other side, Imhotep begins the ritual to resurrect his love Ankh-Su-Namun, but he realizes that Evelyn's companions have reached the statue of Horus and about to obtain the Golden Book. Imhotep awakens his mummified guards, who attack Rick and his companions, attempting to stop them from possessing the Golden Book. However, despite this, they manage to retrieve the golden book from beneath the statue. Meanwhile, Imhotep succeeds in resurrecting Ankh-Su-Namun's mummy and is about to sacrifice Evelyn to regenerate her original body. However, just then, Jonathan arrives with the golden book and shows it to Imhotep. But now he needs the key to open the book, which is possessed by Imhotep. Evelyn instructs Jonathan to read the lines on the cover of the book. As Jonathan starts reading, the mummy soldiers of King Pharaoh come to life. Jonathan orders them to kill Ankh-Su-Namun, and on his command, they kill her. Enraged, Imhotep lifts Jonathan by the neck, but just then Rick intervenes with a sword, diverting Imhotep's attention onto Rick. Seizing the opportunity, Jonathan steals the key from Imhotep and opens the golden book. As Evelyn begins reading the book's incantation, a chariot of the god Horus swiftly arrives, crashing through Imhotep's body, stripping him of all his powers. Now Imhotep's body is like any other normal human. The powerless Imhotep approaches Rick, who draws his sword and strikes him down. He falls into a pit of undead and again transforms into a mummy. After that, all the doors in the place begin closing, and Evelyn, Rick, and Jonathan hastily make their way out. Once outside, they witness the entire place collapsing. Just then Bey appears and expresses his gratitude to them for killing Imhotep. Finally, Rick and Evelyn express their love with a kiss, and the three of them, sitting on a camel, leave the site. And with this scene, the movie comes to an end. Subscribing to the channel will make my day better. See you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.